Well, hello again, everyone, and welcome to the relaunch of SAT Sports with yours truly, Marcus. Usually on this show, I will talk all things New Orleans Saints, Houston Astros, and LSU Tigers. But now a new chapter begins in this show where I'm going to be talking a lot more that involves NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, excuse the hiccups, NHL, Major League Soccer, and even other topics by that. But on the show today, we're going to definitely recap LSU's victory over Grambling, the Saints' first victory over the Tennessee Titans, and a whole lot more. But first, let me introduce to you my guest for tonight. It's Freddy. How you doing today, Freddy?
What's going on, man? What's going on? What's going on?
I'm doing
Finally,
good.
we're finally talking something other than wrestling. The second thing I love to talk about, football.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for those who don't know this guy, I've had him quite often on our show, The World. God damn, I got to get rid of these hiccups. What a way to kick off the relaunch and having hiccups and acid reflex and heartburn and shit. But I've had this guy quite often on my show, The Worldly Podcast. He's been on a bunch of live streams. He's been on some prediction shows, Fallout, nostalgia episodes on the audio side. Now we're coming on to talk mainly football because, I don't think I'm going to be really talking baseball until the Astros really impress me or if we get to the postseason because –
Postseason, yeah. Postseason should give some interesting storylines.
Especially when we get to the playoffs because right now I have nothing positive to say about the Houston Astros because they could be getting swept by a team that is one loss away from 100 losses of the season, and I'm talking about the Oakland A's.
The Mets are out, so I have no dog in the fight.
Well, it's not official yet. As of right now, there's only 3 teams in the league that are officially out. The A's, the Rockies, and another team, but it's not the Mets. I actually saw it the other day. I'm not even going to worry about it. But yeah, this is going to be something new. I'm going to add on some more. I feel like I want to boost this show up a little more. Let's talk more sports and all that. Let's talk about some top headlines because there's one headline that's been talked for the last couple of days. We'll get our thoughts about that. I'm going to do what I did on my last show. I'm going to do predictions for every NFL game. We'll pick a toilet bowl game of the week or actual game of the week with that. And then for our teams, I know you're a Patriots guy. When we get to your game, that's where you'll just have a score prediction, and I'm just going to pick a winner straight up. I do the same with the Saints.
Sounds good.
I do the same with the Saints. So, well, I'm going to go talk with college real quick. But I got to ask real fast. What college team do you ride or die with, like how
Michigan.
I am with LSU? So you're a
Michigan Wolverines. Yep, Michigan Wolverines. Number 2 team in the country.
Yep, number 2 team in the country. I will say I do got some love for Michigan because, I hate Ohio State. It's one of the top 5 college teams I hate with a passion. And y'all were close the last couple of years of the playoffs. Y'all heartbreaking loss to Georgia, or should I say TCU. Blown out by Georgia and a heartbreaking loss to TCU last year, which I was hoping Michigan had the chance. But it's like if TCU wins, I'm going to be happy about it.
Right.
But
and then TCU ended up getting demolished by Bama. No, I'm sorry, by Georgia. Sorry.
Yeah. So LSU got their win 72-10 over Grambling. It's the home opener. First ever meeting between the two in football. And I was at the game. I was going to say, usually games like this, it's boring. You're going to probably want to leave early. But I stuck around for a bit because I only wanted to go to that game for the halftime show. And let me tell you, if you've never had a chance to go check out the world famous GSU marching band, get an opportunity to. If Grambling, I'm pretty sure they have been to the Big House in the past, but if you ever get a chance to add Grambling or even Southern on your schedule, go to the game and at least make it till halftime. You will not be disappointed. That was an amazing halftime performance. I was able to see the Human Jukebox twice at 2 different games, but finally got to see this one, and it was a hell of a halftime show. They
remember
killed
the only time I got to see Michigan play, they played Miami the year the turnover chain was introduced. A friend of mine had season tickets to the Hurricanes game, and we would go every weekend. He was like, "Yo, let's just go." So that year they played Michigan and they beat us. and I was in front row. I was like, fuck.
Wow. Hey, it could have been worse. You could have been at that Appalachian State game in 2007 that
Right.
I know y'all don't want to talk about. That's kind of like us when we lost to like Troy or something, the last game under Les Miles before we got rid of him. So,
And then the last time they were in Florida, we lost the bowl game to the Gators. This was what, 20, 18, I believe, at the Citrus Bowl.
yeah. So they get a big win at home, 72-10. It was a very close game in the first quarter, but it's like after the first quarter, they just dominated. You know, Jaden Daniels led in passing. He had completed 18 out of 24, 269 total yards and 5 total touchdowns. Logan Diggs led in rushing with 15 carries, 115 yards with 1 touchdown. Malik Neighbors led in receiving with 5 receptions, 87 receiving yards and 1 touchdown. But a total of 622 total yards for the team, 320 passing, 302 receiving. The defense did pretty good. Unfortunately, there were no interceptions, but they did get 1 sack from Jordan Jefferson. So they did great. They go on the SEC play next week with Mississippi State, 11 a.m. kickoff on ESPN following College Game Day. Of course, Jordan's tuning in. What's up, Jordan? But give me a rundown on Michigan. I know y'all won 35-7 over UNLV, so y'all had back-to-back games at the Big House. What did you get to see in this one?
I didn't watch this game. I was watching the early game, Colorado.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that.
I was watching the Colorado game, and then I had some family over, so I missed the Michigan game later that day. I was just kind of following on my phone. I know Hobart is still suspended for 4 games. I mean, our first 8 games are just cupcakes. It's not even fair. I mean, you're just looking at their schedule. Michigan has probably the easiest schedule in all college football the first 8 weeks. So we're probably going to go 8-0 until we actually have to play a legit team. The only teams that we probably either suffer a loss to would either be Michigan State, Ohio State, and I mean that's the only 2 teams I see us losing to. If not, we're going to go undefeated.
Is this kind of a Tom Brady thing? Is that why you're a Michigan fan? Or
No. Actually, it's a Fab Four thing.
Okay, basketball.
Yeah, it's not even a Brady Michigan thing.
Wow, I like that.
Yeah, when I was up north, living in New York, I played basketball. That was my first sport, basketball and baseball I played, and I was just infatuated with the Fab with that Michigan team. Weber, Howard, Jalen Rose. I love that team.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure if I were from Michigan and I had to pick, I'd rather cheer for Big Blue than go for Sparty. You know,
yeah, like New York. New York's not a big college football state. But back when I used to live in New York, you would see a lot of Michigan. The only South team that I used to see in New York that people used to rep a lot was Miami Hurricanes. They would rock the duck with the green raincoats. That was the team I seen sported a lot up north. It was the Hurricanes.
You remember a couple years ago, College Game Day decided to go to New York City. They went to Times Square, but there was no game there. They just went. They set up in Times Square, and I remember they had the taxi cab, football helmet, and they had a I Love NY helmet.
Yep, I remember that. It was almost 10 years ago, right?
No, it was less than that. It was like in 2016 or 17 or something like that.
Okay, all right.
Well, I remember when they would show the blimp shot of like, you know, the campus or a stadium whenever they get done with the intro. They showed like a blimp shot of Manhattan. And next thing you know, you see these like pin points, like you would drop a pin on an iPhone. And they had over 40 pins popped up. That's like every Power 5 sports bar they have in Manhattan, and LSU has one.
Yep. Up north is just a pot. New York's a pot of just different fans, like as in college football wise. Football up there, like there's just many different people. Like New York doesn't have a actual. I wouldn't say. I mean, they do have a.
They have Columbia University.
Yeah, Columbia University. Maybe Rutgers. They might follow. I don't know, but it's more of a melting pot of college football fans rather than that state going for one team. Yeah.
Well, I know maybe the closest Power Five schools in New York City, you got Rutgers and Syracuse. It's
Rutgers and
mainly your
Syracuse,
only
yeah.
two. But like any other Power Five school you can think of, they have a bar for them. Michigan, Ohio State, LSU, Alabama, USC, UCLA, all those guys, those big powerhouses.
You know what?
They
It's also
Texas,
like that.
Oklahoma.
It's also like that in Orlando. Here, I
Yeah.
I ride by Bama bars. I ride by LSU bars. I ride by Hurricane bars. Ohio State. They're all over. Small bars, big bars.
Well, unfortunately, I haven't been to the one in New York, but I have been to the one in Orlando, but I forgot what it was called. We just were walking down one day, and then we saw like a bunch of LSU people walking in there, and I'm like, well, let's go follow them. It looks like a good time. It's all decked out LSU. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah. Florida has more. I was just telling somebody the other day. Florida has more Packer and Buffalo Bills bars than Bucks bars.
Well, shocking. I forgot the street and what's the name of it, but there is a bar that's owned by a guy originally from Michigan, and he's a diehard Michigan Wolverine. And you walk in its bar, it's everything Michigan Wolverine.
I wonder where it's at.
It's somewhere like in the Irish Channel. So he was very big. I'm like, I thought I was in the wrong state. I'm like, you don't have anything LSU or Saints in here? He goes, no, I got a little bit of Saints stuff because he goes, I got to support the city team. He got a little bit of Tulane stuff too, but he's like, no, most of my stuff is all Michigan Wolverines. And when Michigan's on, every single big TV that's bigger than 75's got that game on. It kind of treats it like Buffalo Wild Wings. Like you might have other games on, like the second biggest TVs he'll put like LSU on or something or Tulane.
I wonder if it's called Harry Buffalo. I wonder if that's the bar you're talking about. That's in downtown Orlando on Church Street. They have a bar kind of like it's almost like a Twin Peaks, but it's called Harry Buffalo, and it's downtown Orlando. It's also a Buffalo Bills bar.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the Big Blue, y'all got Bowling Green next Saturday. This coming Saturday at 6:30,
which should be another double-digit win
on the Big Ten Network. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure I could find it on ESPN Plus if I would want to watch it, but I ain't gonna lie, it'll probably be maybe 2 weeks if I want to watch. Like when y'all go into conference play with Rutgers, I don't see it being worth watching. It'd be like that's like a cupcake game to y'all.
Right.
And Nebraska could be pretty interesting, but then again, they're 0-2 right now, and Minnesota could be a good one to watch. And then y'all got Indiana, Michigan State, which I always like to watch the Paul Bunyan Trophy game.
Indiana's always a tough game too.
I'd like to see the Penn State game like on November 11th.
That's right. We do play Penn State too. That's right.
But I always watch the Ohio State Michigan matchup because it's one of the best rivalries. Like it's one of those like rivalries I have to watch every year, like Texas Oklahoma, the Iron Bowl, Army Navy game. Big rivalry games like that. I always have to watch Michigan Ohio State, and I'm always rooting for Big Blue because I fuck Ohio State.
Yeah,
and I was surprised. The last two, y'all pulled it off 2 years in a row. Hopefully they can do a three-peat.
I mean, that's the only reason why Harbaugh still has a job, to be honest.
Yeah. So I think we cover that. Like, I think we know who's going to win that one. Like, if you could give me a score prediction for that game.
Let's see. So
Michigan
I'm going to give
and
a score.
Bowling Green.
Saturday, unfortunately, I won't be watching any college sports. I'll actually be at a wedding all day. I'm a groomsman, so I'll probably be checking on my phone periodically. But if I had to pick a score, 52-10.
Okay, that's a fair score. I would say something like 65-7, or if they even score.
Because they just beat a team, UNLV. I mean, 35-7. UNLV is not that good. Bowling Green's not that good either. So Michigan, the first 2 weeks, I mean, they're not putting up tremendous points. They're in the mid-40s against bad teams. So their style of play is not conducive to putting up 50, 60 points. They're more of a run first team option. They don't really have good wide receivers. They're decent, but it's their run game and the quarterback. So, I mean, even against bad teams, you look at the first 2 weeks, they're not, 35-7, So I would say maybe 52-10. If they get 50 points, I mean, I'm being generous. Just if you look at the first 2 weeks, they're playing bad teams, but they're not putting up 72-10 points.
Well, moving on the college side, let's talk about Coach Prime a bit here. I mean, are you a follower of this guy? Like, do you believe in Prime with what he's doing with this Colorado team that he took, who went 1-11 last year, and now they're 2-0 and in the top 25? Like, a lot of people are riding his coattails and hopping on his bandwagon like they did with Nick Saban. How do you feel about Coach Prime in Colorado right now?
You know what? I think in any genre of sports, if you have a coach that has a personality like Prime and an aura around him that whether adult males, kids respect and actually believe in what he says and preaches, I think that goes a long way. Because I think that team believes, if anything. I think it's more, I don't really know his coach. I don't know if he seems like a good coach. I don't know X and O's wise. I haven't really heard, but just the way he carries himself and the way he speaks to the players, whenever you have a team that believes and wants to play hard for the coach, they're going to play 100% every single time. I mean, from Colorado winning one game last year, their average of loss was almost 30 points a game they were losing by. I mean, he's really flipped that program in 2 games. I mean, he can literally be there for life now, to be honest. If he wanted to, he could. Because I think they're going to win 8 or 9 games.
Yeah. I could see him coaching in the NFL in the future, definitely, the way he's...
Yeah, actually, you brought that up. I just spoke with a friend of mine. We were speaking today because I'm like, yo, I mean, at this point, how long before he goes to NFL? And we were talking, I said, I think 3 years. I think 3 years, and I even have a team that he's probably gonna coach.
Who's that?
So there's 2 options here. He goes to the team where his son is on, whoever drafts him. They get rid of that coach, or Jerry Jones cherry picks him to be the next coach of the Cowboys.
Yeah, like, I mean, let's just see. Let's see what I say here. I gave him I was happy. I was actually happy for him that they beat TCU week 1, but I didn't think it was going to happen because, I was riding TCU's coattails like, oh, they're furious. They're embarrassed after that national championship loss, and they've been shit-talked, and they've been quiet for a while. And then when Prime came to Fort Worth and took care of his business, I'm like, shit, okay, I'm listening to you now. Like, I believe you could turn this team around. And, Sheeter Sanders broke a school record in just the first game of the season, 510 yards. And then you got all these other guys on the team, like Jimmy Horn, Joe Horn's son plays for Prime. Like, they're naming all these other players.
Travis Hunter. I mean, Travis Hunter was flipped from FSU. I mean,
he has a Heisman candidate right there.
They have to be careful with him, though. Prime has to figure out a way to not have him play 100+ snaps every week. I don't think that's sustainable. I don't even care if he does have a lot of energy. I don't think you can have him play that much every single week. Well, he has to cut that down some way.
They picked up the win, 36-14 over Nebraska. They're getting ready to host their in-state rivals, Colorado State, which we talked about. I'm like, I heard College Game Day was going to Boulder, but I thought the Oregon game was next. I'm like, oh, but then I find out, oh, fuck, what the hell? Colorado State, I get it's a in-state rivalry. It could be a different game where you could throw the records away, but I think it's going to be a blowout. What's up, Dylan?
Yeah, it's probably going to be a blowout. I mean, but like I said, they're the hot train in sports right now. So, what is it? And it's a 10 p.m. game, right? It's the last game of the night, right?
9 p.m. my time. So
yeah, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So yeah, that's a fuck.
I might watch at least half of that to see if it's going to be a blowout, but I'm calling it now. Something tells me Colorado is going to be on game day the next 3 weeks. If they win this, they're going to go to Eugene for Oregon versus Colorado. And if they pull that off, they host USC the following week.
Yeah, USC the following week, yeah.
That could be your your Pac-12 championship game right there. And it's crazy how there's actually something different that they're talking about outside of Nick Saban or even Georgia these days. They're talking about Coach Prime, he's been the talk in college football since day one of the 2023 season. And it's funny how we have been shit-talking the Pac-12, saying the Pac-12 is now dead. Everyone's jumping ship. Guys are going to the Big Ten. Some are going to the Big 12 next year. But right now, there are 8 Pac-12 teams in the top 25, more than any other conference in the Power 5.
That, yes. They're all undefeated, right? Apparently?
Yes. Yes. I know for sure, like Colorado, USC, Utah, Oregon, Washington are all undefeated.
Yeah, they're all undefeated, I believe.
UCLA was in the top 25, I think.
Right.
I don't feel like pulling it up, but I know the SEC has like 4 or 5 teams right now in the top 25. Like Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, LSU. Well, they did lose one. A&M lost. Did they lose? Somebody from the SEC lost.
Yeah, Texas A&M lost.
Yeah, they lost to Miami.
So I have to have the top 25 here. We got Georgia, Michigan, Florida State, Texas, USC, Ohio State, Penn State, Notre Dame, Alabama at 10. Then you got Tennessee, Utah, Oregon, LSU, Kansas State, Oregon State, Ole Miss, Colorado, Oklahoma, North Carolina, Duke, Miami, Washington, UCLA, and Iowa. That's the top 25.
And all the Pac-12 teams are undefeated.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. Well, I want to bring this up real quick. Probably the biggest news all of college football. Texas pulled it off. Texas beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa. They beat them 34-24. They were the first team to beat Bama in Tuscaloosa since LSU in 2019. And then, of course, Quinn Ewers, they're talking about, now they're talking about him in the Heisman race now. And he mocked Joe Burrow after beating Alabama in the locker room with a cigar. I will give him credit. Yeah, 24 completed passes out of 38 for 349 yards. He threw 3 touchdowns. Jonathan Brooks had a good game, 14 carries for 57 yards and 1 touchdown. I thought who impressed me the most was Jatravion Sanders, even though he did not get on the board, which I only watched the second half of that game when I left the LSU game, but he had 5 receptions for 144 yards. But it was like one play changed it all. It was like 4th and 2. Texas was going for it, and Marshall, the linebacker, blitzed before the snap, and they called an offsides. It was automatic first down with 2 minutes and 46 seconds left, and they just ran the clock, and it was game over.
Just ran the clock out, yeah. I started watching it probably ending third quarter into the fourth quarter. I was going back and forth trying to follow it while I was doing other things. I was like, Bama's going to lose this game.
We were getting highlights. I had some guy sitting next to me. He was giving me highlights. Like at one point, it was like Texas was up 13-9, and then Alabama scored, and they had the lead. We didn't see no highlights, though. We did see highlights of A&M losing to Miami, and the crowd went crazy for that because
Miami scorched them.
But I'll give it to Jalen Milroe for Alabama. He completed 14 out of 27, 255 yards. He did throw 2 touchdowns, but he got 2 interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel bad for USF. I feel like Alabama's going to take it out on them. And
Alabama's going to – they might put up 70.
Yeah. And that's probably the only sold-out game USF's going to have in a long time because
because it's in Tampa.
Yeah, it's at Raymond James. They play their games at Raymond James.
Raymond James, yeah, they do.
They share it with the Bucks. Yep. So I figured let's pick a few college football games before we get into the NFL talk. Let's see what I can find here. We'll pick this one. They got one game tomorrow night. Navy at Memphis.
Navy at Memphis. I'll go Memphis.
Me too. I got Memphis. Let's see. Friday. They only got 3 games Friday. Trying to think which would be a good one here. Let's pick Army and UTSA.
Let's see here. I'll go Army.
You going with Army?
I'm
gonna go with UTSA, especially the fact that they did hang in with Houston in week 1. So on Saturday, we'll start LSU at Mississippi State. I'll take this one first. Mississippi State could be one of them teams that can give us hell, like that we could struggle with. We've had struggle wins against them. been upset by them. I've been to 3 Mississippi State games, and I've only seen them beat Mississippi State one time. Uh-oh. Oh, where'd Freddy go? 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you.
Sorry. Something happened. Kicked me out. I don't know what happened. You hear me?
I've been on mute this whole time. I just realized that. All right. No, yeah, I saw you were gone. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, something happened to kick me out.
Uh-oh. Well,
okay, I'm good.
I said that I've been to 3 Mississippi State games, and I've only seen them beat them one time out of those 3. The last 2 times been to a Mississippi State game, they lost. Well, actually, I take that back. I went to the Mississippi State game last year. That was a win. So I saw them play 4 times, but I watched them lose in 2014 to Dak Prescott. And
he did play for Mississippi State, Dak Prescott. That's right.
And, of course, the year we never talk about, 2020, our first home game after the national championship, we lost to Mississippi State. But it's one of them teams, they can get struggle wins or they can lose to them, but and it's an 11 a.m. kickoff. They don't play their best in the mornings, but I think they win it. It'll be like let me guess. Let me say like a 28-24 or 28-17, something like that.
LSU?
Who you got?
I'll take LSU. Yeah, I'll go LSU also.
All right. Man, I wish they'd have won yesterday if they had their starting quarterback, but Tulane also heading to Mississippi, but they're going to Hattiesburg to take on Southern Miss, and it's a rivalry game. But is Michael Pratt back? Is there?
You said Mississippi. Say that one more time.
Tulane at Southern Miss.
Tulane at Southern Miss. I go Southern Miss.
You go Southern. If Michael Pratt's playing, then I'm gonna go with Tulane. But if he's not playing, I will probably take Southern Miss. But Tulane is still a heavy favorite, so I'm gonna roll with the wave in this one. So Houston, first conference game as a Big 12 member, and they're taking on TCU at home.
TCU.
You got the Horned Frogs?
Yeah, I got TCU coming through on that one.
Yeah, they are a heavy favorite there. I hope UH pulls it off. If they pull it off, it'll be like a real close game. But if TCU pulls it off, see it being a blowout.
Right.
But I'm going to ride and die with UH. I'm going with the Cougars on this one. So if your buddy's watching right now, Florida State at Boston College.
Florida State all day.
Yeah, they're a very good football team.
They're very good.
We should have beat them last year. This year, we deserved that loss. That's how good they are.
It was so good. It was such a good game last year. Todd, who you did the pod with, he does a party at his crib every year for the first game. So the last 2 years has been LSU. And the first game, it was like, so last year when the field goal happened, he actually walked out of the room pissed off that FSU lost. When he heard us yelling, he came back, he was like, wow. I was like, dude, they missed the fucking field goal.
I thought they blocked it.
They blocked it. That's right.
Yeah, they blocked it, but I was already gone by then. Yeah. Talk about Florida State. I got them there. Penn State and Illinois.
Penn State.
Yeah, that's the easy one. Penn State. This should be an interesting one. Both undefeated. Kansas State at Missouri.
Kansas State at Missouri. I'm looking at that now, actually. Kansas State at Missouri. I'll go Kansas State.
Yeah, I think Missouri gives them a run for their money, but K-State walks out with the win there. South Carolina at Georgia. So it's the SEC rivalry game here.
I'll go Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if Spencer Rattler and them can pull it off. They couldn't even hang with North Carolina. I'll give Georgia this win, but when they play Tennessee, then we're going to see if they're really ready when that game comes. So Let's see. What's another one we can pick here? Oh, Minnesota at North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Tar Heel. I'm going with the Tar Heels too.
Yeah. Either Tennessee and Florida.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Tennessee and Florida. I didn't get to that one yet, but let's pick that one right now. Is it in Rocky Top or is it in the swamp? Okay, Tennessee.
That's interesting.
I'm going with
Rocky Top. I'll go Tennessee.
Yeah. I know your boy's picking Tennessee straight up too because he hates some Florida.
I'll go Tennessee. Yeah.
Washington at Michigan State.
Michigan State.
Ooh, I'm gonna go with Washington. I mean, it could go either way, but we'll see how that one goes. Let's see, a couple more we could pick here. What about
we did Colorado? We did Colorado already, right? Where's Colorado State? We picked those already.
I'm gonna do that one last.
Okay, cool.
Georgia Tech at Ole Miss.
Georgia Tech at Ole Miss. I'll go Ole Miss.
Ole Miss too. BYU at Arkansas.
Arkansas.
All right. We got to pick this one. I didn't realize they were playing this already. This game opened up college football last year. I think it's called the Backyard Brawl. Pitt at West Virginia.
Pitt at West Virginia. I'll go West Virginia.
Me too. Yeah, picking West Virginia. That's a good one there. And then finally, college game day. Colorado State, Colorado.
Colorado big.
Yeah. Colorado State would be lucky if they even score any points. But before I get to the NFL talk, I'm going to call this now, like, with how the playoff looks right now, I feel like I'm in a vortex. Like, you remember how this decade you used to see teams like Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, and Clemson in the playoffs? I feel like I'm traveled back 20 years ago because now we got teams like, Michigan and Florida State, Texas, and USC all now playoff contenders these days.
Or the OG, all the OG teams.
The OG teams, yeah. I will say this. I'm going to say another college football playoff prediction now. If Georgia, I see Georgia in if they win the SEC. Georgia's in. Michigan in. So, yeah, those two are definitely in.
Yeah.
Texas beating Alabama, they deserve it. Texas goes in, and plus the national championship game's in Texas. Now, it's going to be a struggle with USC and Florida State. With how good Florida State played, I'd like to see them be that fourth team. But
Florida State just has to beat Clemson. That's it. And Clemson has looked suspect. So,
but something tells me, let's say Florida State and USC all went out and win their conferences, but only one could get in. They're desperate to get a Pac-12 team in because it's the end of the Pac-12. They're going to give it right to USC.
You think they'll give it to the Pac-12 winner over the ACC?
Yes, because supposedly the ACC is still like bankrupt or something, or they're having some problems too, and now they're picking they're getting two California teams to join their conference.
California teams, yeah.
What kind of geographic? You got to rename your conference. They're not in the Atlantic.
I know.
I mean, they're gonna have to rename shit. I mean, thank God the SEC is like they actually got two teams that are worthy to go to the SEC. But I wish we could drop two. Like, get rid of Missouri. At least get rid of Missouri and let us have Texas. But Oklahoma, we'd have to get rid of somebody else. I would say get rid of Vanderbilt, but Vanderbilt helps us big in baseball. I'd say, get rid of.
Yeah, Vanderbilt's not that good in football.
There never were.
Yeah, I mean.
So, all right, now NFL talk. Let's see. I'll start with this one. So, Saints got a win. They got the win, 16-15. That game gave me a damn heart attack. But supposedly the defense was on a roll. I'll start with the offense. I'll give it to Derek Carr, his first game on the main roster as a Saint in the regular season. 23 completed passes out of 33 for 305 yards. He did throw one touchdown pass, but he did have one interception. Jamal Williams led in rushing with 18 carries for 45 yards. Chris Olave led in receiving with 8 receptions and 112 yards. The only touchdown pass that went to was Rashid Shaheed, the guy who fumbled the ball at the start of the game, but he did catch one touchdown for 19 yards. His total yardage, 5 receptions for 89. But this was I'm going to compare the Saints defensive stats to LSU's. 60 total tackles, 36 solo, 3 sacks, and 2 tackles for losses for the Saints, where LSU against Grambling had 73 total tackles, 25 solos, 1 sack, and 4 tackles for losses.
Shaheed also caught the game-winning reception for y'all at the end.
You started the game off rough for us, but you got us the win.
Right.
So hell of a game, but I mean, it scared me. But hey, they got the win, and we're happy.
Yeah, that was one of the games I was watching because I have the NFL ticket on YouTube. So I use my cousin's college information. So I got it for basically 70% off. So I love it.
You go. But y'all had a heartbreaker. 25-20 lost to the Eagles, but
yes,
I'll let you give a rundown for it. But
we got down early, 16-0 on Tom Brady Day. So I was actually expecting us to get blown out. When I saw the 6, I was like, "This is terrible." Mac threw. It was raining. Mac threw a high ball to Kendrick Bourne, fingertips, went for a pick 6 from Darius Slay. But second quarter on, I mean, being down 16-0, Mac Jones outplayed Jalen Hurts. Statistically, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Passer rating was high.
316 yards.
We can't shoot ourselves in the foot being down double-digit scores early and having. We're not a come from behind team. We're a get the lead team by 7 or 10 points and pound the ball with Stevenson. And throw to the tight ends. That's the type of team we are because we don't have an explosive wide receiver to make explosive plays. This week we played Miami on Sunday Night Football.
How'd y'all look on rushing? Because I know Ezekiel Elliott led in rushing for only 29 yards on 7 carries.
Yeah, Stevenson was held in check for the most part. Zeke did look good. He didn't look slow. He didn't look fat like people were stating. He had some good bursts. He had a couple of good runs. But Stevenson is going to be our workhorse. He's basically our best player on the team. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, if he don't do good, we're not going to do good.
And then Kendrick Bourne led y'all in receiving with 2 touchdowns on 6 receptions for 64 yards.
Yeah.
So, but hey, at least y'all didn't like get blown out or anything. Like,
yeah, we didn't get blown out 40-0.
You could have been like the New York Giants and not scored at all. I don't think anyone expected the Cowboys to just sweep the Giants like that, but it's the fucking Giants. Come on now. When was the last time they were that damn good? Like, what, 2012?
That game proved that Daniel Jones, it was a mistake giving him $40 million a year. Because even with what was happening in that game, defensively wise, he could not throw the ball to anybody. Waller was their best receiver. And that team has no wide receivers either. Waller's their best pass catcher. And he has a hamstring injury. So who knows how long he's going to be playing until that hamstring goes out like it does every year with him. Yeah. But Giants are in trouble. They're in trouble.
They're the only team to not score in week 1 and at all since the season started. Now, we'll talk about this in a bit. Like, I can believe Patrick Mahomes dropping the opening game against the Detroit Lions. I think a lot of people were wanting the Lions to pull it off because a lot of people all of a sudden hate Patrick Mahomes. I don't hate him. But what I don't believe is I don't know how many months they have been hyping this up, and that's all they would talk about is Aaron fucking Rodgers gonna change the game around for the New York Jets. Had one of the highest standing ovations when he came out the tunnel with that flag, and they turned like Pat McAfee said on the show. They went from MetLife to Jet Life, and the stream, the fireflies, I call it, all the lights and everything, and turned into a nightclub. Just to go in 4 plays, and you tear your Achilles tendon.
72 seconds. He played quarterback. 72 seconds, bro. I don't like to laugh because it sucks about what happened. It does. It sucks. That sucks. Does. I'm not even a Jets fan. I hate the Jets, but I was like, fuck.
The Jets are like the New York Mets. They have no luck whatsoever.
No luck. No, they're cursed. The Mets and the Jets are cursed.
It's a typical New York thing you can say. I mean, I guess are the Knicks like that too, or even the Rangers?
Yeah, I mean, the Knicks was more not cursed, but more bad ownership.
What does that make?
Now that he stepped aside a little bit, he's not involved in the basketball stuff. He just owns. You know, we're starting to get our shit together. But this year, sports-wise for New York is terrible. The Mets suck. The Yankees are terrible. The Giants just got blown out 40-0. And they lose Aaron Rodgers on 9/11. I mean, how fucking terrible can that be?
But by some miracle, it led to a rookie signee. Didn't even get drafted. He got signed, a rookie, a wide receiver in Xavier Gibson. Punt return for 63 yards in overtime to win it for the goddamn Jets.
I would call it a miracle, but it was more Josh Allen throwing that fucking game away. I mean, even me is watching that game, and I'm like,
I had the Bills winning. I had the Bills winning. Nothing against Aaron Rodgers. I just say Aaron Rodgers is not going to last. I was right, but I didn't want him to get seriously hurt where it could be career ending. They said he had
Josh Allen has regressed as a quarterback. I don't know if people noticed this, but I don't know what he's doing. I was watching the game, and the passes that he was throwing, it was just weird. Throwing into triple coverage, double coverage, the fumble he had in the fourth quarter. I'm like, dude, you single-handedly lost this game for the Bills. Just you and you alone.
When was the last time the Jets were 1-0?
The Jets what? Opened up 1-0?
Exactly. I don't remember. Maybe 2009? I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember they have one.
I figured it was pure luck, because it was 9/11. They were in New York. I was like, Zach Wilson just got his team back. Now I'm hearing the talk like, oh, they're looking for another quarterback. They don't think Zach Wilson can bring them to a Super Bowl. The jokes about, Tom Brady has the perfect chance to pull the biggest joke ever and come back. Oh, they were talking about getting like Carson Wentz to come play for the Jets. Someone even threw in Jameis Winston. Like, why don't you bring Jameis Winston down? Like, Jameis Winston ain't leaving New Orleans. He loves it down there.
They do need a backup quarterback now because what's crazy? That first game, if Wilson went down and got hurt, you know who was their emergency quarterback was?
Who's that?
Randall Cobb.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah. Randall Cobb is their emergency quarterback. So if he went down, Cobb would have been out there at quarterback. So they kind of have to, at this point, get a veteran quarterback. I mean, not necessarily to start, but they have no other quarterback on the team. So they really have no choice but to get a Carson Wentz or a Tyler Hinkie or somebody like that to back up. They really have no. They should never traded Mike White. Now they're fucked.
I'll tell you what's crazy too is like the top three quarterbacks of the AFC all lost week one. Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, and Josh Allen all three lost week one.
Yeah, and Joe Burrow and
I don't want to talk about that. I don't know what the heck to the fucking Cleveland Browns on a rainy Sunday afternoon in Cleveland.
Joe Burrow single-handedly got me 3 points in fantasy.
He got all that money just to get blown out by the Cleveland Browns. Come on, Joe, you're better than that.
It wasn't even close. The Browns played like they were the fucking Browns, old school Super Bowl Browns.
Back when they had, was it Jim Brown?
Yep.
You got paid $275 million for 8-year extension, and you lose 24-3 to the Cleveland Browns.
And I don't know if he's still hurt. I don't know if it's. I'm not really sure what it was because he didn't look like regular Joe Burrow. It was kind of weird. He didn't look like himself.
You know what's bad was when the head coach pulled all the starters out after the 2-minute warning.
You know what? I'd rather that than be the Giants and play Daniel Jones to the fucking end of the game when you're down 40-0.
Mm-hmm. Well, I believed that Mahomes and them were going to drop to the Lions because the Lions is one of those teams, like, they want it so bad. They're tired of being one of the laughing stocks. And I said they were going to give them a hell of a game. I did pick the Chiefs to win, but I said if the Lions win this, I won't even be mad. They deserved it. And they won 21-20. That was a hell of a game. So I got to ask this. This is going to be something we're going to do each week. Give me your top 3 best NFL matchups of week 1.
Of week 1?
From 3
obviously
to 1.
Rams. The best game of the week was Chargers Miami. That's number 1.
Dolphins Chargers. Okay.
Yeah. Dolphins Chargers was the best game. Number 2 would be Lions and Chiefs, and then I would go either Jets Bills or Patriots and Philly. I think the Patriots did better than everybody expected. Obviously, I think everybody, including famous broadcasters on NFL, picked the Patriots to get completely blown out when we end up only losing by 5. Our defense actually is really good, but I'll put Jets and Bills at 3. But definitely that Chargers and Miami game was insane.
That game was close to make my top 3, but it didn't make it. So my number 1 top game of the week, I'm gonna put the Lions and the Chiefs because it wasn't a blowout. It was everything I expected it to be. Number 2, I'm gonna actually put this one on here. I'm gonna put the Cardinals and the Commanders. That was a hell of a fourth quarter with those two. Yes.
Okay.
Number 3, and I'm only putting this because he proved me wrong, but I got to put Tampa Bay at Minnesota. Baker Mayfield turned that team around.
You know what it is, though, Marcus? The Vikings are always going to fucking Viking themselves. They're always – I don't know if it's Kirk Cousins. I don't know if it's the coach. I don't know if it's that team. But they're always going to underachieve no matter what at this point.
Give me your top 3 NFL teams of the week.
49ers, number 1. I think they played the best all-around offense and defensive game. Dallas will be number 2 because of their defense. And at number 3, I would go the Packers. Packers surprised me. They looked actually really good. I thought the Bears would have put up a better fight, and they just got demolished on both ends of the ball.
So top 3 teams this week. Number 1, I'm going to put the Detroit Lions because, like I said, they are the most heartwarming team right now. Everyone wanted them to win, and they got what they wanted, except Kansas City fans. Number 2, I'm putting the Jets because of everything they went through with losing Aaron Rodgers after 4 plays, and you come back and win the game with a rookie wide receiver on a punt return. The third best team this week. It's a team I hate with a passion, but they improved and showed me some shit in this game. I'm going to have to put the Atlanta Falcons, the way they handled the Carolina Panthers like that.
The Falcons did play good, yeah. Yep.
So, what was your toilet bowl game of week 1? I'll go first with this one. Mine was the 49ers and the Steelers.
Yeah, I'll go the same. The Steelers looked like they didn't do any preseason. They didn't practice or anything. I don't know what happened there.
I mean, a lot of people will probably put the Giants and the Cowboys because of the Giants being shit and the Cowboys being the most hated team. But I actually kind of laughed that the Steelers were getting their ass beat like that. Like they're all
because remember,
kidding.
Brock Purdy's coming back from basically Tommy John surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Barely paid any preseason. Hasn't done anything. Went out there and fucking demolished them.
Yeah. And I'm calling it now. I think it's going to be the 49ers winning the NFC.
I believe it. It's going to be a 49ers is going to be 49ers and Cowboys NFC Championship game. Now, like I said, depending on what happens, because we see this every year, Marcus, with the 49ers, they go through 3 or 4 quarterbacks throughout the season. Somebody's going to get hurt. Somebody's going to come in. So it's going to depend on the health of their quarterbacks to see what they do.
The AFC Championship game is going to be one of the same. It's going to be either Chiefs Bills or Chiefs Bengals, or it could be Bengals Bills. The NFC.
You know what? I'm gonna throw a dark horse for you. Tell me if you agree. The Jags.
If they can get their corrections fixed, yeah, they
right.
can't. But don't forget about the Eagles too.
The NFC. Eagles and NFC. Yeah, Eagles and NFC. It could be.
I could say the Niners and the Eagles in the NFC Championship. And it comes to no surprise, the toilet bowl team of the week is the New York Giants.
100%. They did absolutely nothing right, and they kept their star quarterback in the game till the very end when he should have been benched at halftime.
All right, so we're about to go ahead and close out with our Week 2 predictions of the NFL. Now, feel free to cut me off whenever I name a game, and you let me know if your opinion will also be the toilet bowl of the week or could be a potential game of the week.
Sounds good. Let's go. Let's start with tomorrow night.
All right, Thursday Night Football. We get a NFC Championship rematch from 5 years ago. We got Kirk Cousins and the Vikings taking on Jalen Hurts and the Eagles.
Eagles big. Kirk Cousins does not play well on primetime games. You noticed this was the second game of the week. The second game last year, same, was Vikings in Philly at Philly, and the Vikings got demolished. I'm going Philly.
Yeah, I'm going with the Eagles too. They always play good at home, plus the home of WrestleMania 40, next April. So, all right, noon games. We got Raiders, Bills.
Oh, I'm gonna go Bills.
Yeah, they're red hot after they lost to the goddamn
and
Jets.
they're at home.
Speaking of that, I forgot to mention, I got the Bills winning too, but now the NFLPA is demanding that all teams get artificial grass, get rid of the turf after what happened to Aaron Rodgers. I don't think that's going to happen.
It's not going to happen because I don't believe that was the reason why he got hurt. I mean, it could be a contributing factor, but he had a hamstring injury already.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
can't have nice
even
things.
though we did see 3 players out for the season week 1.
Yeah.
Dobbins, Achilles, Rodgers, Achilles, and somebody tore their ACL. I forgot what team.
Ravens.
The Ravens,
running
that's
back.
right.
The running back.
No, he tore his Achilles. JK tore his Achilles. Yeah, and 2 Rodgers and Dobbins Achilles, but somebody else tore their ACL. I think it was a defensive player for a team that they tore their ACL.
Maybe Dylan might know if he's still in the comments. He can tell us. But yeah, I got the Bills. All right, we got a division rivalry game here: Ravens and the Bengals.
I'm gonna say Bengals. I'm not, and that's like but I can't see the Bengals starting 0-2.
Me either. No, and the Ravens
it could happen if they start 0-2. That's a hole they can't get out of.
Yeah, that could change the whole scenery of that division round. If they go 0-2, that's Baltimore's division now.
Yeah, because they're 0-2 in the division.
Yes. And they did look good against the Texans last week. I was impressed with Odell Beckham Jr. I felt like I was watching LSU all over again with him. No, I'm going to still ride with Joe. He got that money. You might as well give us what we want. Keep winning. Be that team. Piss the Browns off. Win an actual Super Bowl for the first time in the state of Ohio. Then we got an AFC Championship rematch from last year. We get the Chiefs and the Jags.
I think the Chiefs start out 0-2. I think the Jags win.
You're going with the Jags, okay?
Yeah, especially if Kelsey. We still don't know if he's playing, if he's going to be 100%. But the Chiefs wide receivers do not look good.
Yeah,
they really do not. They do, even though Chris Jones is coming back on a 1-year deal. But their offense, even with Kelsey, their wide receivers are not good at all.
I don't know when he's coming back.
And the Jags almost beat them. The Jags were up how much in the playoff game?
They were up by 12.
Yeah, by 12.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with the Jags just because I got Travis Etienne on my fantasy team, and I want to go 2-0 in fantasy football. So I'll ride with the Jacksonville Jags on this. But after that, I probably won't pick against the Chiefs ever again unless they play. I don't know. I don't have to look at their schedule down the road. But here's another one I'll kind of keep my eye on. Chargers and the Titans. Who's to get that first win of the season?
Chargers. To beat the Chargers, you have to outscore them and keep up with their pace. And the Titans are not that team.
Yeah, and plus Justin Herbert's my quarterback in fantasy football, and he gave me a lot of points last week, so I want another win, so I'm bolting up with the Chargers. This should be an interesting one. So Jordan Love versus Desmond Ridder. We got the Packers and the Falcons.
Packers.
Well, I would love for the Packers to pull it off.
Yeah, the Packers. The Packers look good, man. They got a great offensive line. Jordan Love looks like he's learned some stuff from Rodgers, and they have a pretty good defense. I'll take the Packers.
Yeah, despite with my hatred of the Atlanta Falcons, I will take Green Bay in this. But no disrespect, Green Bay. When we come to Lambeau next week, no hard feelings. But I will take. I got the Packers winning I always love to pick against the Falcons, but unfortunately, I picked them last week against the Panthers because Panthers are fucking usual. All right, Seahawks and the Lions.
Lions.
Definitely. That's my team to win
Yeah.
the NFC North.
I did pick them, but after watching the Packers, it's going to be close.
I cannot wait till
the
they
Packers
play
are
each
going to
other.
surprise some people.
They will surprise, but I cannot wait till they play each other the first meeting. So, Colts and the Texans.
Toilet bowl game of the week.
That's your toilet bowl game of the week. Okay.
Yeah, it's got to be.
All right.
But I'll go. They're both 0-1. Wow. Richardson did look good last week.
Yeah, he did. They actually scored more points than the Texans.
The Texans actually gave the Ravens a fight for 2 quarters, which I was surprised. All right, I'm going to go on a limb here. I'm going to take the Texans.
You're going to go with Houston? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll pick Houston too. I'll take them as well. No hard feelings, but I mean, there's going to be weeks I'm going to pick against them, but
I don't expect that to be a high-scoring game either. It's going to be really like
low. It would be a not a defensive game. It's just playing crappy defense but crappy offense.
Remember, you got two rookie quarterbacks playing each other. I mean,
I could see this game being like a 14-3 final score.
Yeah, I can see that, or maybe 14-10, like just real low scoring.
Bears and the Bucks.
Man, I have Justin Fields on my fantasy team and DJ Moore. I got to take the Bears. Justin Fields had a lot of hype coming into this year, and he didn't show that last week. I don't know if it was just because it was a division game, and it's the Packers, and maybe they outsmarted themselves. I'm just gonna go with the Bears at this point. I mean, I have to say the Bears. I'm not confident in that, but that's Marcus. That's another team. You go down 0-2, you're not coming back.
It hurts me to say this, but I'm picking Tampa Bay. It's just, Mike Evans, Baker Mayfield, White, Rashad White, Devin White, all those guys.
The only reason why I don't pick the Bucks, because I just don't know which Baker you're going to get week to week. Played really good last week, and this week he could just shit the bed.
I really liked him in college. I loved his attitude. Like, I compared him to Johnny Manziel, but it's like, oh, now you're playing. I gave you a chance for the Cleveland Browns, but you blew it. Everybody blows it in Cleveland, but now you're at a division rival of mine, so I'm gonna have to hate you. But no hard feeling. But I will pick you this week. But I ain't gonna pick you every week, especially when you play us. This is my toilet bowl of the week: the Giants and the Cardinals.
That was gonna be mine, but I picked the 2 rookie quarterbacks instead. You know what? You got to say the Giants, right?
I'm picking the Cardinals. I'm picking the Cardinals.
I mean, right? You can't lose 4-0 and not come out motivated, right?
The Giants will be lucky if they even score again. And
you think so? Oh, you think? Oh no, you think they're gonna get blown out by the Cardinals?
It could happen, but I mean, who's our quarterback? Josh Dobbs.
Yeah, Josh Dobbs.
Man, they won't blow it out. Who else they got on their team? Let's see. They got James Conner on their team.
Yeah, they have Hollywood Brown, but he's not.
Rondale Moore.
Yeah.
I got the Cardinals winning. Giants might get 1 touchdown. I'll give them at least one. Saquon Barkley's got to get on the board at least once in his career.
You have to come out motivated, right? After losing 40-0, though?
To the fucking Cowboys. Yes. So, but I got the Cardinals winning.
Okay.
I like this rivalry, but I don't think it's going to be pretty. 49ers, Rams.
Rams surprised me last week. They looked better than I think anybody expected them to look versus the Seahawks. But I'm still taking 49ers. But I think it's going to be closer than people think, though, Marcus. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. Maybe the Rams, maybe a 7-point game, but I don't think it'll be. I think because, any division games are somewhat close, except for the, obviously, Cowboys and Giants. But, I mean, I think it's closer than what people think it's going to be, but I think the 49ers obviously win.
Oh, yeah, they're going to win. I don't see them going undefeated. But, I mean, come on, man. You got It's fucking Brock Purdy, man, Mr. Irrelevant. You got Christian McCaffrey, who, of course, is doing so great because he's not on my fantasy team. And then, of course, you got Elijah Mitchell, the former Raging Cajun. You got Brandon Ayuk on your team. That's a stacked offense.
Debo Samuel, Kittle, yeah.
Oh, motherfucking Samuel on my fantasy team also.
They're stacked.
Well, you came back. Yeah, they are stacked. And Niners win. I don't know if they win big. Rams usually hang in with them, but
yeah, they do. The Rams hang in.
Cooper Kupp is still out, so I don't know.
But the two wide receivers, Atwell and Puka, whatever his name is, they stepped up last week. That's that good. They were pretty good.
So I got the Niners winning.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm definitely watching this one. Jets and the Cowboys.
Cowboys big. I mean.
Man, I really want to pick the fucking Jets, but
I can't with a good conscience pick the Jets. Not on the road. There's no way.
I'm gonna pick the Cowboys, but I think the Jets give them a game.
You think so?
I think the Cowboys can win maybe at least by one possession.
I think the Cowboys win by 14.
By two possessions. You're going two possessions. So. I'll say like by 8 or 9. Cowboys
just because you know why? If Wilson turns it over, like turns it over, the one thing the Cowboys do they do capitalize on turnovers and they score. So if they get down early in the first quarter, like 17-0, they're not coming back. There's no way.
Yeah. Commanders and the Broncos.
I'm gonna go to Commanders because I have no faith in the Broncos at all. I don't have faith in Russell Wilson. I don't have faith in Sean Payton turning around that team. And I'm gonna take the Commanders to beat them.
Yeah, I got Washington. I'm still waiting to see if they're gonna actually rename them back to the Redskins next year because they got new ownership. Magic Johnson is like one of the owners now and everything.
Right.
Sunday Night Football. 2 Alabama quarterbacks going at it. 2 former national champions. Tua Tagovailoa and the Miami Dolphins against Mac Jones and the New England Patriots.
Okay, so I'm not a delusional Patriots fan. I'm kind of a realist here. So I'm going to say Dolphins.
So you give me a score. You have the Patriots
score.
Losing.
Okay, so 27-24. I think the Patriots get down again early. Like I said, our issue is getting down more than 2 scores early and having to fight back. We're not a team to play from behind. We don't have that talent. Once we get down, it's tough. And if Mac Jones makes mistakes, you have Waddle, you have fucking Tyreek Hill. These I don't think there's anybody on our defensive backs that can stick with them.
Yeah. Plus you got Raheem Mostert too.
Which I think he's hurt. He might not play this week. That helps us out.
Yeah.
But I still go Dolphins.
If this were in Miami, Dolphins would definitely win at home. But, I mean, something about, they say Foxborough is, like, special, especially during primetime. Even without Tom Brady there anymore, they still, like, put on. So, you're going to have to answer this question for me here. I'm used to them with the navy jerseys and the silver pants. I guess the once was the Color Rush combo. That's now their primary home uniforms now?
Yes, that's the primary. And Sunday Night Football, we're actually wearing our throwbacks, the all red jerseys.
Where the Patriots like in the center position?
Yes, we're wearing the red. We're finally bringing back the red jersey.
I like those.
I actually have that jersey in my closet as a throwback from one of the former tight ends in the late 80s, early 90s. I have that red one in my closet, but we're finally wearing that on Sunday.
I remember the only Patriot throwback I remember is the Navy ones where they had the actual Patriot logo on the sleeve.
Yeah. Yep.
That's when they had Drew Bledsoe and them on the team.
The royal blue.
Yeah. I guess you know what? I'll go with New England in this one. I think it.
I hope you're right. To be honest,
real close. I got nothing against Mac Jones. It's like Tua. If Tua can stay healthy, something tells me Tua's going to probably get hurt again later in the season.
But if he can stay healthy. If he can stay healthy, he could throw the ball. He has, and what helps him a lot, right? If Mac Jones had fucking a wide receiver like Tyreek Hill, who can just take the roof off, or even throw a 10-yard pass and take it 70. That helps anybody. The Patriots don't have a player like that. Even with a limit, a limit quarterback that can't do much with those type of speed on the team, it's impossible to stay with. They have two of the fastest wide receivers in the league on one team.
Now, when was the last time? Like, I think they did it last year, but you remember how over the years they did it for a little while. When you kick off week 1, you'd have 2 Monday Night Football games, and that's it. But like now they're doing it. Well, I thought last year that like 4 different times they were playing 2 Monday Night Football games, like week 2, then again like week 6, and then another game like week 13. Like they're doing it like 3 or 4 times again. Well, week 2 we're having 2 Monday night games. The original Monday night game is the Saints and the Panthers in Charlotte. ESPN crew will be there. It's live on ESPN. So.
Oh, and they have one on ABC. Oh shit, I didn't even know.
Yeah, that'll be the last. Yeah. Yep. So. Who you got in the Saints and the Panthers?
Saints. I think Saints win big, dude.
Saints win big? Okay.
Yeah, at least by 17 they win. Especially seeing what the Falcons did to the Panthers last week. Mm-hmm. The Saints are 10 times better than the Falcons.
Yeah. Panthers is always one of those division rivals that we split it. Like we always have a struggle win with Carolina more than the Falcons or even Tampa Bay. Like, some tells me like if we win week 2, we're gonna drop to Carolina at home down the road, or if they do drop this one, they'll win at home against Carolina. They can never sweep Carolina. It's something that's been going on for years now. It's like they win one and lose the other, and now
I need your Saints to be good on defense because I have them in 2 of my leagues defense, and I have you guys as tight end as well.
Oh, okay, you got Which tight end you got? You got
the converted wide receiver to tight end, Johnson.
Okay. You got him. Okay. So I think we're gonna see more offensive scoring in this one. You know, I gotta see Chris Olave get on the board. I gotta see Juwan Johnson get on the board. I gotta see Jamal Williams carry into the end zone. You know, I gotta see more different Saints players outside of Shaheed getting 6.
I picked up Shaheed on the waiver. I had to.
So, I got the Saints winning. I can see them scoring quite a bit of points. I can see them scoring at least 40. So I'll say
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that.
I'll say like 42-17 Saints.
Yeah, it's gonna be big. I think they score a couple times on defense and offense. I think both ways.
I gotta see. I mean, I'm hoping the defense can do some turnovers. I'm hoping to see maybe Demario Davis or Marshawn Lattimore, or even Tyrann Matthew get an interception or something.
Right.
That defense gotta improve for your sake. And then one more Monday night game. This will be on ABC. We get another division rivalry. We get the Cleveland Browns at the Pittsburgh Steelers.
The Browns. The Steelers. The Steelers gave me no reason to pick them this week at all. 0.
The Steelers were probably the second worst team in the league right now. They Kenny Pickett ain't shit. And the Browns looked like a whole different team, like you said. Deshaun Watson's back now, so I did not expect him to come back with all the shit that's been going on with him. But
yeah, he looks back to almost prime again. How he was on the Texans.
When I think of the Browns, I'm thinking of like Nick Chubb, but I forgot Elijah Moore's no longer with the Jets. He's with the Browns now.
He's with the Browns now, yeah.
So. Yeah,
and I mean, and their defense with Denzel Ward, and they have their defense is really good. And I said, the Steelers still got no reason to pick them.
They still got what's his face from A&M, the number 1.
Davion?
Yeah.
No, he's with the Ravens.
Who was the one that fucking almost whacked old boy from the Steelers with the helmet years ago?
Oh, that's Myles Garrett. He's there.
Myles Garrett's still, he played for A&M. He's still over there.
Yeah, that man's not going nowhere. He's one of the top defensive.
That's that's their defensive captain mainly.
Yeah, dude, he had 2 sacks. Against Bro.
He's what Cameron Jordan is to us, or even Demario Davis is to us.
Yeah, exactly, 100%.
So, well, this was a fun one. We got it covered. Well, we're gonna how we'll do this. We'll keep doing this on Wednesdays now. we'll be back next Wednesday to recap, week 3 of college football and week 2 of the NFL, and then if any other top stories come around. But I don't know for sure yet, but like at the end of September, I might be going on an actual sports show. Like I'm going to be in a studio to go talk high school football in Louisiana. I got invited to be a guest.
Nice.
From a fan. Well, he has his own show and everything in the state, but he's like a big fan of wrestling. He's a big fan of the Worldly Podcast. He invited me to come on his show. If I go to his show, I got to be in person in living color in the studio. We would probably do that next episode that Tuesday. I'll keep you updated on it. But
I'm free any Wednesday or Tuesday you need me after whatever time after 8. I'm good.
But my main focus is I want to do this show like at least every Wednesday. Like I feel like that's the best day to like get the predictions for the upcoming weeks and everything and recap. Right. Tuesday and Wednesday, but I like to keep it like on the Wednesday mark. But there might be times I'll move it to a Tuesday. But
yeah, I'm cool with it.
But real quick, let the non-wrestling listeners here know where they can find you on social media.
Yes, you can find me on Twitter, The Real Freddy 85. You can find me on Instagram. Facebook will be coming back soon. I took a break from that. Too much social media, so I had to cancel one out. I wasn't really on Facebook that much, but I'm definitely active on Twitter. You know me, Marcus. I'm always active on there.
Oh, yeah. So I'm on Twitter at MarcusLee337. Follow the show on Twitter at SATSports89. Watch anytime on demand on my YouTube channel. And we'll see you guys next week. Y'all enjoy y'all's next week of football.
Deuces. See you Wednesday. Go Pats.
Yep, do that. And go Tigers. And, of course, go Big Blue or whatever Michigan other chance they have.
Go Big Blue.
All righty, y'all. See y'all next time.
All right, man. Have a good night.
Y'all too.
Peace.